Greetings. This is the third recipe for the SCA Medieval Cooking Challenge. I am Nick Saint-Erne, or in the SCA I'm known as Nicholas de Navarre from the Kingdom of Atenveld. Today's recipe is for the savory toasted or melted cheese, which makes a great appetizer for a medieval feast. It comes from a manuscript published in London in 1669. The closet of Sir Kenelm Digby, Knight, opened. Savory toasted or melted cheese. Cut pieces of quick, fat, rich, well-tasted cheese, as the best of Brie, Cheshire, etc., or sharp, thick cream cheese, into a dish of thick beaten melted butter, that hath served for asparagus, or the like, or peas, or other boiled salad, or ragout of meat, or gravy of mutton. And if you will, chop some of the asparagus among it, or slices of gambon of bacon, or fresh collops, or onions, or ciboulets, or anchovies, and set all this to melt upon a chafing dish of coals, and stir all well together to incorporate them. And when all is of an equal consistency, strew some gross white pepper on it, and eat it with toasts or crusts of white bread. You may scorch it at the top with a hot fire shovel. For my preparation, I used a 1/4 pound of Brie cheese and a 1/2 pound of cream cheese to add into my 1/2 pound of beaten melted butter in a cauldron rather than a chafing dish. After the cheese and butter melted, I added the other cooked ingredients, a 1/2 cup of asparagus and a 1/2 pound of crispy bacon, along with collops of roast beef, chopped and sautéed red onions and white onions, and for the ciboulets, which are small onions, I substituted chopped green onions. I skipped adding anchovies, as these ingredients are suggestions of things that could be added into the melted cheese. Finally, I strew some ground white pepper on it. The slices of bread were buttered on both sides and then toasted over the coals. Then the savory melted cheese was spooned on the toast to serve. The recipe is easy enough to cook over a campfire, and I prepared it using my fire pit. We're going to start by taking butter with the onions and the asparagus and just putting that over the fire to melt the butter and then brown the onions. And over here, the chopped up bacon to cook the bacon. So these are going to cook over the fire for a little bit until the bacon is crispy and the onions are browned. So here is the cream cheese, the Brie cheese, and the butter. And I'm going to put those into the cauldron rather than a chafing dish and get those melting. They're a little bit higher above the fire right now, so I'll drop it down, and then after I'm done cooking the bacon, I'll drop this closer to the fire. The bacon is almost brown. The onions are still browning, so we'll let them go a little bit more. And I have the cheese and butter up at the top, and it's melting really well. I'm going to just give it a nice big stir. I'm going to transfer the bacon into the cheese and then give it another mix. Now we have cheesy bacon. that down a little lower to the fire. And now the onions and asparagus go in. And it's getting nice and thick now. While the cheese is finishing melting, I'm going to place the buttered rye bread onto the grill so we can get a little bit of toastiness to them. But just brown each side. Flip them over. I'm also going to add a little bit of collops, which in this case it's sliced roast beef. And since the recipe called for bacon or collops, I'm going to add just a little bit of collops as well as the bacon. The last step is I'm going to add the white pepper. And that's going to go in there, give it a little taste. The white pepper is the only spice that is asked to put in with the recipe. And white pepper is really the same as black pepper. It's just before the seed is dried, the outer black casing is removed, so only the white inner portion of the peppercorn is dried and ground, which gives you a white color pepper with the same flavor. There's really no difference, so if you wanted to use black pepper, you certainly could. But the reason white pepper is used with white cheeses or white sauces is so you don't see the little black specks in it while you're eating it. So it's more for aesthetics than anything else. I've prepared now my toast with the melted cheese dish. And let's just try a little segment right here. The flavor is really good, buttery. The cheese is not very strong. You can tell it's cheese, but I couldn't tell it was brie or cream cheese. It just has a buttery, cheesy flavor. And the bacon was really a nice touch. You can taste the bacon, a little bit of onion. It doesn't taste much different between the different types of onions I used, but it's a little bit onion, a little bit of bacon, and then some cheesy goodness. All in all, it's a great recipe, easy to make, great for camping or whenever you put on a medieval feast. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.